What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, I recorded a video yesterday talking about how Final Fantasy Rebirth 7 Rebirth is a flop. Only sold 2 million. I was all lively and animated, and then the recording didn't have no sound. I was like, oh, it's broken, and I said, boo-hoo. And so, I'm going to just say that real quick. Final Fantasy Rebirth, failure. You notice they haven't said anything about the sales numbers. You wonder why? Failure. That whole model of Sony having exclusives to push their hardware, to push the software and such, that's not what video games are anymore. The antiquated model, the antiquated business model of, oh, we sell a lot of consoles and then we get exclusives and the exclusives will sell the console. No, that's not how it works. The most successful games are not exclusives. Period. End of story. You look at the top 5. You can say top 10, but you say top 5 played games, not exclusive. And I'm talking about all the games. I'm not just talking about PlayStation games or Xbox games or Nintendo games. All the games. Well, you know what? I take that back. Nintendo games, some of them are up there. And they are exclusive because, Nintendo's playing a different game. Anyway, that whole idea, that whole business model is done forever and ever. And the fact that Sony has not prepared for anything else, this is what they're doing. I mean, their answer to this problem, their solution to this problem is put games on PC earlier, or put games on PC day and date, which negates the PlayStation, which negates the entire business model. So what are they going to do? It's like, okay, we're going to sell a lot of consoles. We're going to say we sold a lot of consoles. When we did or we didn't. No. And, they were like, yay, PlayStation won. But did they really? Because you can say you sold a lot of consoles, but the proof is in the unit sales. I'm talking about game unit sales. If you have a billion consoles, if you have 100 million consoles sold, and you only sell 2 million copies of a game, your business is failing. Of course, that's an exaggeration. They say they have 50 million consoles in homes, people playing. I doubt that. And only 2 million Final Fantasies. The best franchise in the world. The most popular RPG in the world. It's not, of course. How's that number and that other number make sense? It doesn't make sense. Either A, somebody's lying, or B, they're not making games people want to play. And that is a bigger problem over at PlayStation. It's almost like, I remember, I think 50 Cent said something about Puffy before all the Diddy stuff went down. The no Diddy stuff. He said that Puff Daddy doesn't have the ear anymore. He can't hear the hits anymore. And that's why there was a song that somebody made and they gave it to Diddy. Diddy passed on it and Drake took it. And Drake made it a hit. I forgot what song it was. And then Diddy got mad because he's like, yo, this song got stolen from me. He played it at one of his shows and it was Drake's song. And I'm like, look at this petty ass motherflower, A. And he didn't have the ear. He heard the track and was like, that's whack, move next. And then Drake heard it and was like, let's go. And made it a hit. Made it a slammer-jammer hit. And that's what PlayStation. PlayStation is the Diddy of video games. I'm sticking to that. They don't know what is a hit. They know what was a hit. They have their formula for those type of games, but even those games, not so much. The games that are hits for them, they don't own. Spider-Man. Wolverine will probably sell pretty well. more than any of their first party franchises. I guess God of War is probably the closest thing. But they're dragging that to the ground. Even David Jaffe's like, I don't like God of War no more because it's like not what it used to be. You know, old man Kratos and all this crap. It's like, you know what? I mean, I kind of appreciate what Cory Barlog did, but at the same time, Jaffe's kind of right. Because what made God of War like edgy and crazy was like the sex mini games and stuff. And people are like, oh, that's the not treating women fairly and blah blah blah. And he said something the other day. He said it is a consensual activity between 3 adults, Kratos and 2 ladies, I think, or maybe there was 4. I don't know. But when he said that, I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. What's wrong with that? I mean, is it in good taste or whatever? I mean, that's subjective. But adults will adult. If they want to smash bang and knock the candles off the nightstand, and let's go. Make it a mini game. It was funny at the time, and the young boys liked it. You know what I mean? So it's like, they don't have anything like that in the new God of War. The new God of War is just all old man Kratos yelling at his kid, being sad, chopping down trees, fighting other gods and stuff still. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of lost some of that flavor, some of that Kratos. You know what I mean? Kratos ain't the same, which is fine. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, that part that they took out of God of War is missed. And I understand Me Too and all. I mean, Me Too, Neo Me Too, because it's not really Me Too. All that stuff and Gamergate and all the sexism, misogyny, blah blah, whatever the ogeny is for the ladies. I can't remember what it is. People need to relax. People need to enjoy the games that creators create. All right, and the creators need to stop being scared. Make a game, get your balls right. You put a cool breeze on it because it's nice to have a little bit of cool breeze on the ballies, because if they're too hot, then it's a problem. Just let y'all know, dudes out there, if your balls are too hot, you need to put some ice on it. Okay, don't put ice on it. That's a little uncomfortable. But I'm just saying, make sure you got circulation down there because you want your boy swimming strong. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, the business model sucks. Their solution is put everything on PC day and date, which is a Band-Aid. It's not a total solution because, like I said, they're not making the games that players want to play. Helldivers 2, out of the 5 games that they put out early this year, or 4 games. Let's see, Helldivers, Stellar Blade, well, it didn't come out yet. Foam Stars, Rise of Ronin, those 4. Okay, we take Stellar Blade out of there. I don't think Stellar Blade will do okay. It ain't gonna do like a lot. You're gonna see the jiggle and then it's gonna be gone. The engagement is gonna drop off like a cliff. A month after, nobody's playing that game. Anyway, so they need to make games that people want to play. The games that they put out, those 4 games, Stellar Blade is put over there. Rise of Ronin, failure, because it looks like a PS3 game. Primarily because that, once again, Sony has trained their audience to only accept a certain quality of video game, meaning the camera has to be at a certain, distance from the back of the third person off the shoulder. The lighting has to be a certain way, the graphics, the textures, and all that stuff. I mean, it's just basically post-apocalyptic. But let's, just whatever. They have set these expectations. All their gamers are like, yo, it better look like The Last of Us 2 or something. Rise of Ronin, it's like, it's not even the same. Nope, it's got to look like Ellie with an arrow, bow and arrow, with a samurai head on it or something. That's what's going on. And so they look at this game and it's like, I haven't heard anything about the gameplay. It's like, is the gameplay good? Can somebody please tell me how the gameplay is? They're like, yeah, it looks like a PS3 game. And that's the end of the discussion. I'm like, well, I guess it's hot trash garbage. That's the perception. Perception is reality sometimes for some people. It's probably an okay game. I'll never play it because they want to be exclusive. That's what you get, and you got a failure. That's what happened. Because once again, PlayStation gamers, the 50 million, are not buying those. The 50 million that are playing PlayStation, they're playing Roblox, they're playing Fortnite, they're playing Minecraft, They're not playing Rise of Ronin. Nobody cares about that game. Nobody cares about that game. Foam Stars died on the vine. Foam Stars was a failure before it launched. I saw that guy. I was like, I guess the resolution is higher than Splatoon 2, but nope. Nintendo got that magic. They like sprinkled it on there, and yeah, Square Enix ain't got that. And I heard people talking about that game. They're like, oh man, it was so chaotic and confusing, and I guess frenetic is a good word too, which isn't always bad, but I mean, there's an art to making games. You know, the visual language and the visual information needs to make sense. If it's too much, visual and sensory overload, people can't play it. You know, there's a balance of that. And then they were saying, oh, you build the foam and it's blocking, you can't see nothing. I'm like, okay, that sounds like a hot mess. But once again, Foam Stars, nobody's talking about Foam Stars. You're looking at the track record. 2 out of the 3 games, failures, flops, trash. And then you look at Helldivers 2, and it's like, is it really a success? I mean, it's done better than the failures and the flops. Obviously, it's not a flop or failure, but is it a success? Is it like, oh my gosh, the hottest game ever right now? Is not Helldivers 2. It's not that. It is, I mean, Power World still has more concurrent players than Helldivers 2, I believe. But if you look at overall how many people have played, yeah, Power World wins. Power World is a bigger sensation, bigger game, bigger everything, bigger install base. So even with their success, Sony's still kind of failing. PlayStation is still kind of failing. The best performing game is still not performing Xbox's best performing game of this early in the year. So they need, you know what? I got no solutions. I got no solutions for Sony because A, they're not paying me to solutify them, to have solutions, to solve their problems. And B, the fact that they've been in the game, in the video game industry for decades and still can't figure out this means that they were never cut out to do this, meaning multiplayer games that people want to play. They want to be all artsy-fartsy and say, we're going to make the games that our creators want to create, blah, blah, blah. I get that. At the same time, you got to read the room. And you got to say, well, we understand these type of games make money, okay? Can we make a game like that and not force it? You get a studio who can make games that can fulfill that need, and then you go for it. I guess they tried to do that with Bungie and Destiny, but that was a failing. That ship was sinking on the way in. And they drug them all the way down to the bottom, to the depths. I think Microsoft let them go. It's like, I mean, and people are like, oh my gosh, Bungie left, blah, 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 right? And then now you're looking at Microsoft. Microsoft's sitting there like, told y'all. Why you think we ain't keep them? We got them. We got the money. We could have kept them if they were worth it. Guess they weren't worth it. Just saying. So these moves that these companies are making, PlayStation in particular, they're going to limp along. They're going to be okay. They're going to survive. Let's just say that. They'll survive until the next generation. But if they don't hit it out of the park with the next generation, and if Xbox does hit it out with this supposed handheld, I'm going to buy one. And sight unseen, I'm buying one. You know what I'm saying? And if it's how it is, like if they do ARM, I think ARM is their best bet. If they do ARM, and then they do a backwards compatibility layer, like how Proton, I think it's Proton, right, on Steam Deck. If they do that with the new handheld to make it work with all the backwards compatibility plus the forward stuff, and if they go on that trajectory, they're looking at Apple and they're like, yo, Apple has all these ARMs and stuff. They have all these ARMs. They have these ARM chips in their freaking everything, in their phones and in their laptops and in their desktops. And everything's compatible. That's why Resident Evil works on an iPhone, because it's the same processor, yet smaller, pared down obviously than the M3, but still. And from what I understand, the ARM, how they're doing their ARMs, how they're doing their ARM architecture is, I guess, I don't know if this works for all ARM, but how I understand it is that if you want to make a chip more powerful or strong, you just add another chip. Basically, it's like one M1 and another M1 equals an M2, and you have double the power. I mean, that's how I understand it in a tertiary kind of something I heard somebody say. I think it was on Game On Daily or something. And I was like, oh, okay, if that's how it goes, then I mean, sure. Because I mean, a lot of the going forward, they're trying to figure out different ways that they're trying to do vertical chip fabrication, so that instead of all the resistors kind of on one plane, I mean, they're not really on one plane, but you know, for this argument or for this example, they're on one plane. They want to build up, right? But the only problem with that is thermals. So, you know, there's no way to effectively cool a stack like that. Or it would definitely be hotter. So I don't know how they would solve that. I mean, of course they could figure out a way, but if they build vertically without increasing the actual millimeter of the die size, then that would be interesting. And if they do that with ARM's already more power efficient, so they could probably get more out of those chips faster than the AMD side, the x86, x64 stuff. So, and as I understand it, how somebody said it, I forgot what they said. Well, I forgot who said it, but they said basically that the ARM technology will get more powerful faster than the x86 and the x64 will become more power efficient. So the x86 and x64 are more powerful at this moment, but they demand a lot of power. So ARM's going to catch up with that faster than they can become as power efficient as ARM. You dig? So that's cool. So Microsoft is looking at that and they're like, ARM. I hope they go ARM. If they don't go ARM, it's not the end of the world. But at the same time, I think now is the time to switch. If you're going to switch architectures, now's the time to do it. And the reasons are, it's a no-brainer. A, you're doing it for the portable version, and B, they're looking at Apple and they're seeing that Apple is doing everything with ARM and it's succeeding. And they have no lack in power, and it's cheaper. The chips are cheaper. They're more power efficient. It's like the only downside is that they're not as powerful as the AMD chips, but they're getting there. They're closing in so fast. So I'm like, yo, I'm kind of excited. You know, technology wise, I'm like, yo, I'm kind of excited. I want to see what the Xbox handheld looks like. Man, it's super exciting times. And I think when Sarah Bond said that statement where the leap in power or a leap in generational power, whatever, I think she was really talking about ARM and how it will be, you know, power efficient and stronger. And so they could, you know, for the desktop, for the console, the home console, they can amp it up. They could stack 59 of those bad boys, not 59, but I'm just saying 5 of them, make it an M5 or whatever, and give it the power that it needs. You know, there's no real, there are limiting power requirements on consoles just to be, you know, safe or whatever, but it's way more than a handheld, obviously. So it could be 2, 3, 4 times more powerful than the handheld because it can have that much more power requirements for the chips, however they design it. So I can see, I'm starting to put it together. Now, I could be totally wrong. I probably am. Let me know in the comments below if anything I said, which is probably some stuff, is just not right. But yeah, let me know. I'm done. I'm gonna end it right now. But let me know in the comments below what you think about the exclusive thing happening, the Final Fantasy Rebirth, Afterbirth, whatever it's called, failing, flopping, only 2 million sales, blah, blah, blah. Square Enix is kicking themselves in the booty again, once again, with another PlayStation exclusive failure. And this new move from Microsoft with ARM and the new technology coming out is so interesting. And I am hopeful for the industry. I'm looking at it, I'm like, all right, we're looking healthy right now. Not Sony, but what Microsoft is doing, what PC is kind of, you know, they're kind of getting through. I think when the new what was it, the 6000 chip, I forgot which graphics card, Nvidia is kind of weird, but anyway, the Appreciate. Like and subscribe. And I'll check y'all guys on the next one. Too.